Regardless of whether or not you've already purchased the TOTO S550e and you're looking on how to install it, or you're considering purchasing, knowing the installation process is key. In this video, we will talk about everything you could possibly need to know when it comes to installing the TOTO S550e. My name is Daniel Johnson. I'm your bidet expert, and I'm the owner of ManyBidets.com, where over the past 8 years, we've sold over 10,000 bidets. So the first thing you need to do is to drain the tank in the back. The way that you're going to do that is turn off the water inlet. Now this might be a quarter turn like ours here, or it might be one that you need to turn more. So don't assume that a quarter turn is all you need to do, but turn it until it's off, and then drain the tank by holding down on the flush lever until you hear that no more water is running. Obviously our flush lever is here, but you might have buttons on the top as well. Once you've done that, you need to disconnect the water supply. We want to make sure that we have something down here to catch that water, any remaining residual water. So we grab a sponge here and a cloth. I unscrew. And you can see we have a minimal amount of water here, but still having something to catch that water is great. And now what we need to do is install the T-connector that comes with the TOTO S550e. So the T-connector that comes with the S550e is a bit unique. Other bidet seats on the market are going to come with a fully metal T-connector that looks more like a standard T-connector that you'd pick up at a hardware store. This one is a bit unique, but you can see that it has a rubber gasket, a cone-shaped rubber gasket in the top. Make sure that that's there before installing it, as that's going to keep it from leaking. We're going to connect that to the bottom side of the toilet tank. It is not going to connect to the water inlet down here, so don't try to connect it down here. It's not going to connect because the threads are not correct for that. And then same thing here, cone washer, make sure that's there, and then connect that to the bottom side of this T-connector. And now we can install the bidet seat, which will connect to this water inlet. So now we're going to install the mounting plate. TOTO sends their mounting plates with a top mounting kit. So that allows you to tighten the mounting plate to the toilet from the top. That's great if you have a skirted toilet. If you have a non-skirted toilet, you could use a standard kit with most bidet seats, but regardless, this will be mounted with a top mounting kit. These bolts go into the rubber sleeve and basically pull up on this metal ring, pulling the rubber against the bottom side of the toilet to grip that. If you had a top mounting kit on a skirted toilet, you would have to work this down from the top like I'm doing right here. If you have a non-skirted toilet, it's actually a little bit easier to reach around the bottom side of the toilet and pull down. Either will work, but that's a little bit easier. When I'm putting the mounting plate on, I want the metal hooks to be facing forward. So if I have it like this, I know I have it on backwards. And now I'm going to put these bolts through the metal brackets right here, and then attach the metal brackets to the mounting plate by setting them in place. Now what you can tell about this particular mounting plate design is there are grooves in the mounting plate, so I can see exactly how far forwards or backwards the mounting plate is resting. So I can tell whether or not it's even or level by counting the grooves here. So right now we can see that it's even from side to side. And now I'm going to go ahead and tighten this down. Generally, I recommend when screwing into a mounting kit that is a top mounting kit, that you use a manual screwdriver versus an electric one, simply because those top mounting kits can be a little bit sensitive to being tightened too quickly. So I do tend to recommend a handheld screwdriver for this particular piece of the puzzle. And as I tighten these, the rubber on the bottom is being pulled up and against the porcelain to hold it tight. So when you're mounting this mounting plate, you probably want about 1 inch, give or take, from the back of the mounting plate to the tank in the back. And the reason for that is that when the seat snaps into the mounting plate, it's going to overhang this back of the mounting plate by a little bit, and it will need room to do that. Now, if you try to slide the seat into the mounting plate and it doesn't fit because the mounting plate is not far enough forward, just take the seat off, loosen up these bolts, scoot the mounting plate forward and retighten, and then try again. Now that the mounting plate is in place, we can go ahead and continue on with the install. Now we're going to install the seat by sliding it into the mounting plate. The S550e has a set of metal hooks that actually clip into these metal hooks. So if we press the button here, you can see those metal hooks move. When we slide it into the mounting plate, this little button is going to automatically push itself in and then release, and we'll actually hear that snap when we snap it into place. To my knowledge, TOTO is the only brand that has that metal locking mechanism. It is one of the highest quality products on the market in my opinion. So we line it up with the mounting plate, and then we slide it into place. Let me do that again so you can hear it click. And it's in place. And you'll notice there's not a whole lot of room here in the back. It's a good thing we gave it 1 inch to work with, because now we're closer to the tank, because again, the seat itself overhangs that mounting plate a little bit. Now that the seat is mounted on the toilet, we can connect the water supply. When we mount it here, you can see we have a pretty good fit, but let's say the seat was overhanging a lot in the front or too close to the back. Of course, we could take the seat off and adjust the mounting plate. Let's go ahead and connect the water next. We want to make sure that this rubber O-ring is on this water inlet. And then we can connect the water inlet here. And we're good to go. TOTO is one of the few brands where the water supply hose is connected to the bidet seat at all times, so there's no taking this off or putting this on, it's just there. It does swivel, so if you wanted to, you could take a zip tie and zip tie it up to make it a little bit more condensed and tight. Also, if you were to get a Washlet Plus unit, the cord and the hose would be completely hidden. That would require replacing the toilet, but we sell a lot of Washlet Plus units. Feel free to reach out to us if you want to learn more about a more sleek version that still uses this bidet seat. All right, now that we've got connected to the water, all that's left is to plug it into electricity. So let's go ahead and plug this unit in, and we're going to hear it boot up here in a moment. So it's booting up, we're good there. Now, it's important to know that this seat pulls about 13 amps, so you want to make sure that you have enough juice on the circuit to be able to support this seat before going out and buying one. If you need to have an electrician out to check that, definitely some good things to check before making your purchase. So now that we have everything set up, we want to get this ready to use, but we want to make sure that there's no leaks first. So we want to have something handy to sop up any leaks in case there are some. Really, if we have the rubber washers properly in place in these 3 locations, we shouldn't have any problem. but better safe than sorry, so we have that ready. And let's turn on the water supply. We can hear the tank filling with water. We can see that there's no leaks. The fittings might be a little bit cold because of the cold water coming in, but I don't feel any wetness, so we're good there. So we're in good shape at this point in time. Now all we have to do is take a look at the remote. The S550e also comes with a remote. This is a dual-sided remote. Simple options on the front, more complicated options on the back. There's also a battery compartment for 2 AA batteries. Those batteries do come with the unit. It also comes with a wall mount. This wall mount is a 2-piece wall mount, and the remote slides right into that wall mount. It's held in there pretty securely, but if you want to make it so that it can't come out, you can use the small screw that comes with it to screw from the wall mount into the remote to keep it in place. The other screws in this package are for mounting the wall mount to the wall. TOTO also provides a guide. So this guide would be mounted with the wall mount, as so that when the remote is in that wall mount, you can see exactly what options are available without having to know ahead of time what different options do. And again, this could be mounted anywhere that you're able to screw the wall mount into the wall. So now that we've got batteries in the remote, we have the electricity hooked up, the water hooked up, let's test the unit. So I'm going to go ahead and hit the rear wash button. Well, the remote lit up, but nothing's happening. This is the point in time when we often get a phone call saying, hey, my brand new unit doesn't work. What's missed is the fact that this seat has a seat sensor built into it. The seat sensor can tell whether or not someone is seated on the unit and only runs washing functions when it's actively being used. So I'm pressing a button here, but no one's sitting on the unit, so the washlet says, I'm not gonna run, I don't want to spray you in the face. Most bidet seats on the market, their seat sensor is activated by moving your hand right across this area of the seat using an infrared sensor. TOTO is a little bit different. You'll notice that this side of the seat is slightly higher than this side. When you sit down, you're gonna hear that click. It's a faint click, but it's there, and that's you engaging the seat sensor. So to test a TOTO unit, we actually want to push down on the seat sensor here in the back, not move our hand over the seat in the front. So now that we have the seat sensor activated and the self-cleaning cycle has run, let's go ahead and push the wash button. And here comes the nozzle ready to show us that it is properly working. All right, so now that we've tested it, we can hit the stop button on the remote, or we can just deactivate the seat sensor and the nozzle goes back in because it says no one's seated anymore. So we now know we have a functioning unit in our home. So you've got your TOTO S550e installed, and you're looking at the remote and realizing it's a bit more complicated than you originally thought. We have good news for you. We're coming out with a video that walks you through the ins and outs of how to operate that remote. If you want to see that video when it's released, make sure that you subscribe so that you get a notification. You can also comment on this video if you have any questions that we can address, or visit our website and live chat with us, text us, call us, email us. We're happy to reach out and help however we can. Don't forget to like this video if you like what you saw so that others know to watch it. And of course, if you're looking to make a purchase, consider making that from us so that we can support this channel and continue to create great content. Thank you for watching today and have a fantastic day.
ManyBidets.com, where we sell mini bidets, not mini bidets.